Before we go any further, just want to say today's video is going to be brought to you by Fandomion. If you want to buy some really awesome anime merch from My Hero Academia, Attack on Titan, and Haiku, and so many other anime, I recommend using my link in the description box to check them out. And there's free worldwide shipping on orders over $39. You'll also get an additional 5% off using my promo code down below. For any of you guys who might be interested or on the fence, I highly recommend checking out their website. Pay attention to the size chart. That'd be the biggest thing I would tell you guys. But with that being said, though, let's jump back into today's video. From the moment that Masashi Kishimoto decided on a whim to make Sasuke Boruto sensei, fans have wanted to see more of their relationship, with some fans wanting to see Boruto and Sasuke have a similar heartwarming relationship like that of Naruto and Jiraiya. Well, in today's edition of Sasuke Shinden, the teacher star pupil, I'm going to share with you one of those very moments that Boruto and Sasuke had right before Sasuke took Boruto with him on a mission to stop a major threat against a land of fire, and it's during that moment that Boruto truly learns what it means to be somebody who protects the village from the shadows directly from Sasuke's mouth. The information is given to us from the Sasuke Shinden light novel, The Teacher Star Pupil, which I'll leave links to down in the description box for anybody who wants to read the novel and do so in a way to help support the channel. Now, for context, we're almost 70% through this light novel where Sasuke serves as the squad leader for Team 7. It's due to Boruto leading Team 7 into the crosshairs of Sasuke's prior mission that Sasuke not only has to do damage control to protect his daughter Sarada, but also his student Boruto, but he also has no choice but to assemble them at 4 AM for a mission that starts out at A rank in terms of mission, but it has a sliding scale that can move closer to S rank in terms of danger. As a reminder, A rank missions in Boruto are different than A rank missions during the Naruto era, for which I've done a whole video breaking down the differences, but as a quick reminder, for these missions, you only need a threat level that has multiple Chunin level targets for it to be an A rank mission, but due to the danger that this mission poses, it can quickly escalate to S rank. Due to Team 7 being involved where they really shouldn't have gotten involved in the first place, Sasuke has no choice but to bring them along in order to protect them, since Team 7 isn't likely to drop their meddling with their client, the pop singer named Lily, and the best way to prevent them from being hurt is for Sasuke to have to deal with them directly. They can't mess up a mission if he's there watching them, and that's part of Sasuke's reasoning. However, this is also a bit of backhanded punishment meant to serve as a teaching moment for master and student in regards to Boruto and Sasuke. Boruto prior to this had to watch Sasuke take punishment for Boruto's mistakes, watch Sasuke get interrogated publicly for the events at the stadium, and Boruto had to listen to people call Sasuke out of his name, openly disrespect Sasuke, and Boruto was forced to keep his mouth shut despite wanting to defend the honor of his master. It had already been established earlier on in the novel and then later on confirmed in the Boruto manga chapter that just came out that not everyone's forgiven Sasuke for his crimes, that he was on a lifetime probation, that Sasuke, despite everything he's done for Konoha, will never have recognized authority in the village. However, for the first time ever, Boruto sees up close and personal the burden that Sasuke has to carry. The people of the village don't know the lengths that Sasuke goes through in order to keep them safe. Even his recent display of power at the stadium, where he unleashed his perfect Susanoo, it was all done solely to keep the 50,000 innocent people there safe from a threat that they didn't know existed. Sarada explains to Boruto that hearing people bash her father, it pisses her off as well, but she knows that Sasuke wouldn't want her getting upset, and that Sasuke himself doesn't care what people think about him. It's in the moment right before Sasuke tells Team 7 that they're going to get onto a ship headed for the Land of Water, that they're going to stop the group of terrorists before they can carry out their plan, that we get a moment between Boruto and Sasuke where Boruto gets a harsh lesson from Sasuke on what it means to protect the village from the shadows, doing the things that the Yonbu Black Ops can't and won't do. For the first time, Boruto gets an explanation of what his future holds should Boruto continue to go down this path of inheriting Sasuke's will. With the scene finally being set and the context being added, it's here I'm going to read the selected passages from the novel, and then I'm going to come back to you guys with my thoughts, and it's here I'm going to begin quoting. Boruto clenched his hands and lifted his face. "Sorry, this whole thing was because we messed up. Don't apologize. It's nothing serious," Sasuke said. For all it had taken for Boruto to muster the courage to apologize, Sasuke brushed it aside in a millisecond as if it didn't matter. "But everyone's calling you names and criticizing you," Boruto insisted. "Much better than having your names come out," Sasuke replied. "Come on, we have to hurry to the port. We're wasting time." The gloom didn't leave Boruto's face. Sasuke let out a small sigh. "Boruto, being hated is part of my job. It's nothing for you to get upset about. Let it go." Sasuke said, "Don't you hate it though? Your working mission is to protect the village, and then those people, they just say whatever they want about you. It's not right," Boruto said. "I understand how you feel. Trust me, I do. A relative of mine was unjustly smeared once, and I was furious about it. But when it came my turn, I suddenly didn't care either way. It's a strange thing. And I don't really feel like I'm working to protect the village. If I had to say what my purpose was, it's helping your father." Sasuke tousled Boruto's blonde hair. "So don't worry about it," Sasuke said. "You say that, but..." Boruto stared up at his teacher with a complicated mix of emotion. Sasuke's face was as expressionless as it ever was. "Fine," Boruto replied. It wasn't as though he was actually persuaded by Sasuke's words, but he accepted the situation for the time being, even though he didn't fully understand it. After all, it was weird for him to be so worried when the man in question apparently couldn't have cared less. Sasuke leaped onto the roof of the house. He planned to take the rooftop route, taking advantage of the fact that there was no one around to see them. Boruto and his teammates followed suit, and the four of them jumped from house to house in a direct line for the port. End quote. What I like right here is that we get a couple of very important things. So I don't know if you guys caught this, but Sasuke comes dangerously close to telling Boruto how far Itachi went to protect the village, but stops short of revealing that classified intel, only saying that it was a relative who was smeared once, but that's not something that any of them would actually know. It's also worth noting that Sarada is in listening range of Boruto and Sasuke's conversation because Sasuke is approached directly by Boruto in front of Team 7. The truth behind the Uchiha massacre, that Konoha ordered Itachi to massacre the clan. It has not been disclosed, and it likely won't ever be disclosed to public due to the fact that it's going to be a PR nightmare to handle. Hence why all the records on the Uchiha massacre in the Boruto era require very high ranking in order to access, as shown when Sarada tried to learn more about her clan and the information was restricted. In this brief moment, Sasuke came very close to saying something he shouldn't, and it's a good thing that he didn't, if we're being honest. Even after Sasuke tells Boruto that being hated by so many in the village was something that came with his job, Boruto doesn't understand what Sasuke means by this. He's struggling to accept it. The same is true for why Sasuke says his job is less about protecting the village from the shadows and more about supporting Naruto. Due to no fault of his own, the light that floods Boruto's world as a result of his pampered upbringing doesn't allow for him to understand the burden that Sasuke has to carry in this world. Protecting the village, but never receiving credit for it, and even being hated by ninja who are weaker than you, and innocent people who know nothing about the burden that you carry all for their sake. It's why, for as talented as Boruto is, he isn't truly aware of what he's asking for when he says that he wishes to take Sasuke's place. Due to his upbringing, the full information behind the events of the Uchiha massacre and how it led to Sasuke into the darkness and how Sasuke's own sins still affect him to this day, Sasuke correctly feels as if Boruto and Sarada, despite all their genius talent, they're not emotionally developed enough to handle the full truth, but instead only piecemeal sections of it. It's why he stops short of revealing the full truth to Boruto in this moment and waits to see his response to the breadcrumbs that Sasuke dropped. What I also like here is that later on in the scene, Sasuke confirms something that I've said in my True Power series video that I did on Tsunade, where I stated that the jutsu that Tsunade used when she messed up the electrical impulses in Kabuto's body had to have been a lightning release jutsu. Sasuke tells Boruto that when he lost control of his body before Sasuke stepped in, The jutsu that took control of Boruto's body wasn't a genjutsu, but instead was a lightning release jutsu that sends lightning release through the body in a subtle way to scramble off the electrical impulses that the body has when the brain tells the body to move in a specific way. It's a very similar jutsu to what Tsunade used back during the Search of Tsunade arc when she fought against Kabuto, but it's a different jutsu in that it directly controls the movements, whereas Tsunade's jutsu just scrambled the movements at random. Sasuke's Sharingan broke down the weakness, its water release. Sasuke explains that due to his water release being perfected and being made up of only hydrogen and oxygen, containing no impurities to serve as bridges, that the lightning release was nullified and couldn't be conducted. Sasuke explains that the ninja that they're going to encounter on this mission have a high level of lightning release that makes them extremely dangerous, especially because the ones that can use lightning release have extreme chakra control, which you as fans should be able to establish, since the only other person who has a similar jutsu to this is Tsunade, and this jutsu is arguably more advanced than hers. And Sasuke then drops another bombshell on Boruto, telling him that these ninja understand the importance of combining ninjutsu and science, stating that ninjutsu and science go hand in hand in this new world. Something that a lot of fans of the series might need to reevaluate as well, since a lot of fans feel that Ninja Tech ruined the Naruto franchise. It's in the time afterwards, after Boruto continues to ponder Sasuke's words, struggling to understand why Sasuke's okay with being hated by the village even though he's protecting the village, that Sasuke leads Team 7 headfirst into the harbor where Sasuke's intel led them. They were on the precipice of battle, and the revelations during this battle would shake Boruto down to his core, all while showing him how much more he still needs to learn before he can truly travel with Sasuke and begin the process of learning what it means to protect the village from the shadows. However, that's gonna be it for today's edition of Sasuke Shinden. I'll be back with another installment soon. My question for you guys is, between Boruto and Sarada, who is more equipped to learn the full truth about the Uchiha massacre? Let me know down in the comment section below. But as always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching to the end. Have an awesome day, guys.